How you doing? Well, I'm hoping that you're doing well. Interesting thing happened. You'll probably see it on my daughter's Facebook because she tends to put everything on Facebook. But a bald eagle in her neighbor's yard eating the head of a deer, which she lives in a very interesting area. There's a lot of wooded area, and there's the valley of Warding Valley. She's right on the edge of it, which makes me think that I don't believe there's many hunters around that area. In fact, I would assume there'd be none because it would certainly not be permitted in that area. So you have to wonder what it was that decapitated that deer, which brought me to the point of encouraging her not to go for her walks late at night or early in the morning. It might be wise to kind of work around that. Anyway, I want you to just take a moment and think about something that we've been talking about, the dignity of human beings. This all was sparked by, it was actually a Epic Times podcast, or you can get it on video, Dr. Michael Engor, who was speaking of the fact that basically neurology, in terms of neuroscience, they found everything in the physical brain, but what they can't put their finger on is free will or reason. And his belief is that that's something that comes from outside of man, the ability to reason and the ability to make a choice. In fact, we'll talk about it at another time, perhaps even tonight in service, but one neuroscientist called it free won't. In other words, it's that part of us that says we're not going to go along. We're going to choose another path. Why is that important? Because God gave us dignity. What is it that we want to teach our children and grandchildren? Do we want to teach them to be successful? There's many people that are in the world doing horrible things, but yet successful at it. We've heard much in the news in the recent years and months about the Epstein files. He was a very successful person doing horrible things. Many people do. There are many people that are very successful, but they have no moral compass. What do we want to teach our children, our grandchildren? This is why God, when he appeared to Moses and not only appeared to him to lead the children out of Egypt, there in Exodus 3, but beyond that, when he appeared and he wrote with his finger, it says in Exodus chapter 30 and verse 18, his very finger, that he wrote literally the Ten Commandments. Why? Because he wanted to inform his people of a relationship that he had forged with them that he did not have with the rest of the nations of the world, but just this little group of people. And that they would live by it. That it actually would be the means by which they could speak to the rest of the world, just through the habit of their life, living in right relationship with the God who had saved them. Now, just take a moment and think about this. We want to teach our children, as the Word of God tells us, we want to teach them right relationship with our God, which means character, not accomplishment. The accomplishment may or may not come. Character, though, stands the test of time. Doing good. What does it say there in Micah chapter 6 and verse 8? Love justice. Love justice, meaning be fair to all people, not just the ones that are close to you, but be fair to all people, just as Jesus said, you're to love your neighbor as yourself. More than that, you're to love your enemy. You're to do good to those that despitefully use you. Why is that important? Do justice, treat all people fairly. Next is to love mercy. Literally, the word there speaks of the mercy that God made a covenant to reveal to his people. Love it. And then lastly, walk humbly, meaning that we recognize the fact that we are given a great privilege by our God to know Him. And not just to know Him, but as is so often said today, to make Him known by our very relationship with Him, by maturing and growing. We'll talk more about this next time, but I want you to realize that this aspect of character, virtue, the ability to live a life that's a good life, that treats people with respect, that is a merciful life. You love mercy. And you're humble. You don't think too much of yourself. No matter what you achieve, you recognize that it was a gracious God that has given us the opportunity. In fact, He's actually, as it says in 2 Corinthians 9 and I think it's verse 12 and on, that He's given to us so that we could sow in great abundance and reap. To be kind, compassionate, care for other people. He blesses us so we can bless others. Isn't that what we want our children to know? Our grandchildren? Isn't that what we want to teach them? That they treat people, even those people that might be looked down upon by others, but how are you going to treat them? Are you going to belittle them? Are you going to mock them? I remember when I was a teenager, we used to go to the mall and we'd sit around a group of us guys and just kind of mock people that, that we just didn't like, or we thought they were funny, or they acted funny, or they were dressed funny. And then I joined the military in the early 70s. And it wasn't a great time to be in the military. I had my head shaved, and it wasn't a great time to not have long hair. And they didn't think highly of people that were in the military. In fact, we were belittled and even ostracized. And you know what? God taught me a very valuable lesson. I didn't even know it was Him teaching me that at that time. That anyone can be that person that another person mocks. There's very few people out there that have the heart and the kindness to treat people with respect, even the ones they disagree with or they think that are so different that they're not deserving of it. I guess we should treat others the way we would want to be treated in Matthew 7:12. Till next time, friends, let's think about what we're teaching to our younger people. God bless you.